Combination of weed head calls and phone system crashing up and down makes me blow up. I apologize to that caller talking about hemp. I understand hemp is not marijuana. It's an industrial product that DuPont and others got restricted. We're not even allowed to grow it in this country. There's no THC in it. It's better than cotton, everything. You can grow it almost anywhere. I understand it's part of globalist sabotage, because if you're the cotton and polyester makers, ban your biggest competitor because the public's too ignorant to not understand it's not a drug. So I apologize for that. I want to take a bunch of your calls, and I want to get your take on the Ron Paul situation with Rand Paul endorsing Mitt Romney. I get the fact that, hey, let's compromise, let's bring the movement mainstream. Let's take over the Republicans. Let's not scare mainline Republicans on and on again. But that's not what's going to happen. And I know that's what's being told to the Pauls. And kind of like an idiot the last 4, 5, 6 months, I was still defending them when I was getting signals this was going on behind the scenes. I was like, there's no way that's happening. And now that I feel chumped, which is rare, but I do tend to trust people personally, I may be overreacting. The point is, you're not getting teleprompters or notes. I'm the one that calls the shots around here. So that's why you see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Look, our country is in a lot of trouble. The world government is real. And Mitt Romney is such an operative for these people. It really upsets me that America is waking up and we got the worst Republican candidates ever, and the system did everything they could to block out Ron Paul. And when he really won those first primaries, they stole that. That later came out, and Ron Paul didn't stand up and fight that. And then I learned from inside their campaign they never intended to win it, and that is from people inside. And I feel a responsibility to probably bring that out. And you know what? I am going to start bringing it all out. I'm going to have to get it all codified and lined up, and I'll just put out a 10-minute video soon. How's that sound? And I'm real sad about it, okay? Okay? That's what's going on here. I got like 20 phone calls to take. Mark in Florida. Let's see if we can keep the phone system up. Go ahead, Mark. You're on the air.
Hey, thank you, Alex, for taking my call. Hope you can hear me good.
I can. Yes, sir.
I was always wondering, when all the other candidates backed out, why Ron Paul didn't publicly at all his events stand up and say, I want to debate Mitt Romney. I want to, on the stage, me and Mitt. No, listen, they never went after Romney. When people made a big deal out of it, they did some milquetoast ads they barely ran on the internet against him. And I defended him, and I was wrong. There were deals going on from the beginning. That's been confirmed. Again, I shouldn't. I don't want to do this emotionally. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Well, and then he's got the inside sabotage from Jesse and all. I'm just hoping that it's kind of a shooting at the moon here. I'm just hoping Ron Paul is communicating with his delegates to do something in Tampa, to sabotage it, overthrow, take it over, something in the back door, because it's not like Ron Paul, after all his years of fighting the Constitution and the corrupt lawyers and judges that have destructed this country, it's not like him to back down.
Exactly, exactly. This is akin to a child dying in a car wreck. I mean, you invest all this in it. It's been so true blue, and the globalists hate him, went after him, tried every dirty trick, and then to see Rand just run into their arms when we basically catapulted him over the top in Kentucky. They've admitted this. I mean, you know, my listeners, all of us, and they've done a lot of good work. Rand has tried to fight the NDAA. He's done a lot. I like Rand. That's why this is personal. This makes me want to throw up. God bless you. I appreciate your call. Kevin in Pennsylvania, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, long-time listener, first-time caller. It's an honor to speak to such a great American. After Thursday, I feel like I've been stabbed in the back. The wind's out of my sail. I don't know what to do.
Well, don't let it out of your sail. Liberty is popular. That's why Rand Paul and Ron Paul have been put into office. That's why Ron Paul really won those first states, and they had to steal it from him. Because we are the majority. We're starting to wake this country. We're the majority of awake people. The television, sport heads, and people, they can't be helped. But for thinking people, we're winning the intellectual war, brother. So don't be down.
Right. Well, I marched for Ron Paul and the Veterans for Ron Paul March in D.C. I was planning on being in Tampa for the Veterans for Ron Paul down there. My wife and I went to the Philly Independence Mall in the pouring rain with 4,300 other Liberty lovers to see Ron Paul, and this is it's so depressing what's going on. I was planning on writing in Ron Paul no matter what happened for the election this time, but now I don't know what to do.
Well, the computers ignore it all anyways. You fight with your vote, getting the word out about the New World Order and the globalists and getting the fluoride out and exposing the bankers that have hijacked the government and the country. And again, I appreciate your call, great points. Look, I'm going to say this right now. I know Ron Paul, he's a good guy. I know Rand Paul, he's a good guy. And I understand how they got sold the idea of play ball and, try to take over the Republican Party. It's either get shut out with this big movement or be part of it. But it's going to be co-opted the other way. I just think it's a big miscalculation. I'm sure in their hearts they think they've done the right thing. But look, this is a firestorm, folks. I woke up because I went to bed early. I don't ever go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. But I've been out of town at Bilderberg covering it, very tired. At the end of the week, didn't get back till Wednesday. So I went to bed at like 8 o'clock at night on Wednesday when I got back. And I went to bed at 9 o'clock Thursday night. And I got up and emails, text, phone calls. Did you see this? And I looked at it. And I thought, well, I'll say we need to wait and see and watch. And I got in, looked at more of it, got more and more angry. My listeners were totally angry. And then now here we are a few days later, no response, except the Republican establishment is calling us tinfoil hats because we don't like Mitt Romney. You'd have to be wearing a tinfoil hat and have a lobotomy to think Mitt Romney's a real conservative. I mean, look, I just can't believe it. Let's go to another phone call. Lone Star in Tejas. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. I was at the convention center in Fort Worth on the dreaded day. That would be, Thursday, after receiving a cute little email on Wednesday. And I'd like you to look at that speech. It's online that he made. It's just a few hours before his crappy son went and, threw us all overboard to support Willard. And,
now, I've seen the speech, ma'am. I've seen the speech, and our own Richard Reeves was there. Our own reporter is a delegate. Here's the problem. There's one message in little speeches that are for the internet. Then there's another Ron Paul on TV, the milquetoast, not hitting real issues now. And it's the same thing with Rand. See, there's that email saying we've lost the delegates, we're going to lose now, but in person, we're going to win, we're going to win. No, that's another reason I feel sick.
No, I feel sicker than you do because I was there, and he could have come out and said something. It's just, I feel like the horse that got rode hard and put up wet. You know what I'm saying? It's been going on for months, just like you said. There was the first one, Rand was on your show about 6 or 8 weeks ago. I thought, what the heck? Then there was the Jesse Benton email, and then there was this little thing I really hated. Is about, it's not about the man, it's about the movement. Really? Well, the movement just took itself and had a big movement over toward, mainline.
Exactly,
GOP.
towards, I mean, it's not even mainline. Mitt Romney is outside of mainline. I mean, the fact that he's going to be the nominee, this is Mr. Abortion, Mr. Open Borders, Mr. Obamacare, okay? I mean, This is Alex Jones. Monday through Friday, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. Back Sundays 4 to 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Jones. Look, we got bigger fish to fry than the Pauls. And I understand they think they're going to take over the Republican Party. And I'm a Martian jet pilot from Pluto. The point is that we have a right to be angry about this. And to tell them, hey, you need to get back to exposing the globalists, the New World Order, the Federal Reserve, and not tell us how great Mitt Romney is. Now, I'm going to go to Lone Star. Already talked to Lone Star. John, Joe, Karen, Bobby, Clayton, Mark, Lance, David, and others. I'll at least get to those in what's left of this segment, the next, after we play this video. This is just one video of hundreds online that have got millions of views from just a few months ago showing the flip-flopping of Mitt Romney. And again, not liking Mitt Romney. If I walk on a car dealership and one of the cars is Obama, ooh, don't like that one. And then there's this car. It's called Mitt Romney. And I'm like, I don't want that one either. That doesn't mean I like Obama. I don't like either one. And we've got to get past this idea that we've got to just accept whatever they shove in our face. So here is Mitt Romney. This is the guy Rand Paul wholeheartedly is endorsing because they have a lot in common, he said. Really, give me one issue. Gerald Celente was on with me Friday on the Nightly News. Totally agrees. Give me one issue they actually agree on. Look, Mitt Romney looks, I guess, like a Republican, clean-cut guy, sharp suit executive, but he gets into betraying people. Well, I'm not into being betrayed. Not my thing. And when the history books are written, and it'll just be a year from now, we'll know either way who gets in and then what that person does. Mark my words, if Mitt Romney gets in, look out, folks. The entire agenda is going to continue, but with some football, political football issues about gay marriage and stuff. That'll be the only difference. And that's all you're going to hear about because the media has to give you some difference. Here is that compilation of not flip-flops. It's worse than flip-flops because his entire career as a politician, as a governor, as an executive is for abortion, anti-gun, pro-New World Order, carbon taxes, Obamacare. Here it is. Here's the proof.
I'm running for office, for Pete's sake.
Who is this guy? Can you trust him?
I have never supported the President's Recovery Act, all right, the stimulus. No time, nowhere, no how. I think there is need for economic stimulus.
You're only allowed a certain number of flips before people begin to doubt your character.
The big issue with Mitt Romney has been the issue of abortion. Has he flip-flopped on abortion?
I will preserve and protect a woman's right to choose.
The right next step in the fight to preserve the sanctity of life is to see Roe v. Wade overturned.
He was pro-choice, then he's pro-life.
Or he flip-flops again, just like he did on abortion, just like he did on Ronald Reagan.
Look, I was an independent during the time of Reagan-Bush. I'm not trying to return to Reagan-Bush.
The principles that Ronald Reagan espoused are as true today as they were when he spoke them.
There you go again.
In 1985, I helped found a company. I learned how America competes with companies in other countries.
The money he has that he didn't inherit is what he made as a private equity mogul, shutting down companies, liquidating their assets, and firing their American workers.
I think you'll find that I've been as consistent as human beings can be.
If you're looking for someone who's never changed any positions on any policies, then I'm not your guy.
I think Americans just don't know sometimes which Mitt Romney they're dealing with.
The new cover of Time magazine today asks the question, why don't they like me?
Mitt Romney spends little to no time doing interviews on the TV, whereas the other candidates are working the Sunday news show circuit like a politician running for president.
Romney often bypassing reporters on the rope line.
Remember earlier this year how Romney got $1 million donation from an organization that just suddenly ceased to exist the next day?
It's really someone wanting to give Romney the money while staying in the shadows.
Mitt Romney stealing all of Barack Obama's big dollar Wall Street donors.
A good chunk of his funds came from his buddies on Wall Street, like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Bank of America.
To get that kind of money, you've got to cozy up as an incumbent to all of the special interest groups who go out and raise money for you from their members. That kind of relationship has an influence on the way you're going to vote. But look, I'm not going to spend my time going after Ben Bernanke. I'm not going to take my effort and focus on the Federal Reserve.
Should the chairman of the Federal Reserve be appointed again?
I think he's doing a good job.
You do?
Yes, I do. And I think it's important to have the Fed as an independent agency. I do not think you want to have the Congress of the United States trying to pull strings.
Hit pause. Back it up to the beginning of that. Clip after clip of him just a year ago. Now, again, the Federal Reserve is private. The Congress controls the issuance of currency and credit. 1913 is given to a foreign group. Their charter, 100-year charter, is up next year. Rand Paul, all about get the Fed. And now Mitt Romney's a good guy. Mitt Romney is bought and paid for by big brokerage houses that got banker bailouts. These are not capitalists. These are monopoly men. They're the ones lobbying, like Berkshire Hathaway,